One Zambia, one nation. Thank you for joining us on Zanis News. I'm Alice Banda to be with you. Let's take a look at the stories making headline. Vice President Mutalena Lumango challenges church and mothers. Kembe MP hands over first ever mothers shelter. Chipangali receives 2,400 bags of fertilizer under wetlands project. Plus, learners praise government over CDF bursary. And now the news in detail. Vice President Mutalena Lumango has challenged the church and mothers to take an active role in the economic development agenda of the country. Mrs. Nalumango says that poverty alleviation must not be left to politicians alone, but that the church and mothers need to raise and break the cycle of poverty by empowering women with educational and financial support. The Vice President said this in Lusaka during the Anglican Church of the Province of Central Africa Mothers Union Conference. Jonathan Mukuka brings us this report.
Mothers under the Anglican Church of the Province of the Central Africa Mothers Union Conference have gathered at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Lusaka for a Mothers Union Conference. Vice President Mutalena Lumango, who was represented by Lusaka Province Minister Shiumuliata, officially opened the special conference that has drawn participants from Botswana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and the host Zambia.
Economic development is not just for politicians like me, but it is also for the church and the mothers too. If we are able to reduce poverty levels in our countries, we need to arise and break the cycle of poverty by empowering women massively and ensuring that we keep our girls in school. We support them with necessary needs and ensure we promote equity.
Sharon Hamper is the Mother Union worldwide president of the Anglican Church based in Guyana, South America.
There are so many more cases of women suffering that we are not aware of. Cases that still remain hidden in dark corners because someone chose to remain silent. But Mothers Union cannot be silent anymore.
Other church leaders also spoke during the official opening of the conference.
It's not a holiday that we are here, or a picnic. It is a place where we are supposed to be transformed.
Thank you very much. Amen. For having organized this and brought everybody together on board, and things are happening. Keep going. God who has called you shall strengthen you to the last.
Jonathan reporting for Zanis News in Lusaka.
Action Aid Zambia has embarked on empowering 150 women in Nalolo district of Western Province with capacity building skills in fund mobilization and income generating activities. Action Aid Zambia Western Province Agriculture and Livelihood Officer Nyambe Muyambango says women are being trained in group savings and wealth creation. Sifue Mwangala has the details.
Women are usually vulnerable members of society in areas where poverty levels are high. In order to improve the livelihood of rural women, Action Aid Zambia has embarked on an activity of empowering 150 women in Nalolo district with financial literacy. Action Aid Zambia Agriculture and Fisheries Officer Nyambe Muyambango sheds more light on the significance of the program.
The motive behind is to ensure that these women are empowered financially and they'll be able to have incomes for their families, and also they will be able to take care of their families. And after this training, what we are doing is we are going to provide them with a seed fund of 2,500 kwacha per group, so that they start the process of saving.
And one of the participants, a 80-year-old Ingutuma Mulondo, said despite her age, she has gained knowledge on the importance of managing finances.
I now have enough knowledge on the importance of joining silk groups. People usually laugh at me that I'm too old to join such groups. I will end up being arrested. But I can't be discouraged because I've seen the benefits.
Meanwhile, Mbwainga Mayumbano, who is among the few men in the women groups, said savings groups are very helpful in rural areas where there are no banks.
I thank Action Aid Zambia for giving us knowledge about silk groups. Silk groups will help us a lot because in rural areas, we do not have banks to save and borrow money from.
Sifue Mwangala, Zanis, in Alolo District, Western Province.
In Wangwa District, Women and Law in Southern Africa Research and Education Trust, WILSA Zambia, will be training 50 community paralegals in Chief Mumburuma's area in a bid to help enhance access to justice for the citizenry on issues of defilement, rape, and other related vices. WILSA Acting National Director Francis Mwanawasa says the training will equip youths with skills and knowledge for them to handle and reduce gender-based violence, GBV, and other related cases in the district. District Commissioner Luke Chikanis assured WILSA of government support.
Women and Law in Southern Africa Research and Education Trust, WILSA, Zambia, are conducting interviews in Luangwa's Chief Mruma area to select 50 youth to be trained in community paralegals. WILSA Acting National Director Francis Mwanawasa said the aim of the training is to have paralegals that will work with the community in the fight against gender-based violence and its vices.
Basically, we need a community team representation where the paralegals are able to work with the community on matters to do with the gender-based violence. How we identify, how we deal with those problems. But the major intention of that education is at some point to equip them with some form of training, which will then enable them or capacitate them with the necessary skill, and that will enable or that will ensure that much as they can do the work, but they also have certain knowledge that equips them, enables them to facilitate the job that will uphold the purpose of gender-based violence, information assessment, information recording.
Both the project manager, Matrin Hazondo, and WILSA legal assistant, Catherine Lutele, explained more on the training.
When we went here, we realized that there was a lot of gender-based violence in our various communities, and especially issues of defilements and early pregnancies. Those would always top the list, and we thought that what we saw, what was lacking, a gap was we had no paralegals.
It's just about the basics about the law. What kind of advice are they going to give them? And also knowing that they're just giving information about the law and gender-based violence.
Luangwa District Commissioner expressed happiness that the district is benefiting from the program.
Many a time the two chiefs have talked about early marriages, discouraging of early marriages. Others are underage marriages. Yes. So I think it goes a long way.
The selected youth will be trained for 20 days in August 2023, familiarize them on basic paralegal work. Lista Ndumba, Luangwa District.
And on the Copper Belt Province, Lufanyama's Kajem Mine Company has praised President Hakainde Hichilema's administration for creating an enabling environment for investment to thrive in the mining sector. Company board chairperson Sixtus Mulenga says last year the company managed to produce 37 million carat of emerald, which is the highest since the firm was opened. Dr. Mlenga said this during the company's special workers recognition ceremony held at the mine. Agrippa Silumbwe has more in this report.
Zambia's emerald production has continued to record steady increase, with the country's largest gemstone producer, Kajem Mine, hitting over 30 million of carat in its last year's production. The mine has attributed its current performance to good investment policies initiated by government, and a special ceremony has been held to recognize workers involved in the production.
Years from the outside, we just want to recognize you as being the true assets of the company.
We produce something like 37 million carats, and our plan for the future, for the next 5 years, we shall go beyond 45 million carats. We are right at the top in the world, and that is being made possible through the great investor-friendly policies that His Excellency leadership, President Hakainde Hichilema.
The labor movement were on hand to witness this event.
The great asset of Kajam are the workers, and if they are the workers, then there is need to recognize their inputs.
Government is equally impressed with progress Rufanyama district is making in the mining sector.
Government has endeavored to place high premium on bettering work conditions by creating a more conducive and peaceful working environment for its workers in the area. Kajam also has stepped forward as a beacon of hope by extending its support and commitment to the betterment of our district.
In order for you to have a production, you should appreciate these people, because without them, you cannot achieve much.
Reporting, I'm Agrippa Silumbwe, Kapabot Province.
We take a break, and when we come back, Kembe MP hands over first ever mother's shelter in Kembe Ward. Stay tuned.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Hello, it's time for you to know your rights. For ignorance of the law is no defense.
People should report any case of gender-based violence to the police. They should not be tempted to compromise the cases, because compromising a case of gender-based violence is actually an offense.
Zambia, like any other country, has got laws that govern the welfare of its citizens.
We provide some check, some oversight on the police service.
When an officer misconducts himself, he's alone. One person being beaten is enough for the commission to move. The Constitution tells us that the people of Zambia must enjoy their liberties.
Every week on Thursday at 19:30 hours, the Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis, brings to your screens a program dubbed Police and the Community.
If we, the police, and you, member of the public, will work together, because the common enemy we have before us is the criminal.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. Kembe Member of Parliament, Princess Kasune, has handed over a newly constructed first ever mother's shelter to the community of Kembe Ward in Chiwombo District. The modern mother's shelter, which cost 700,000 kwacha, was financed by the 2022 Constituency Development Fund CDF. Lakson Makoza brings us this report.
The prudent utilization of the Constituency Development Fund is transforming the delivery of healthcare services in rural communities such as in Kembe constituency of Chiwombo District. Since the country's independence in 1964, Kembe Ward has been operating without a mother's shelter. Expectant mothers used to face numerous challenges due to lack of a mother's shelter. However, this is about to change following the commissioning of a newly constructed modern mother's shelter by Kembe constituency area Member of Parliament Princess Kasuni.
This government, it's like we were thinking the same. The president's emphasis is on making sure that every clinic, every health center has a maternity ward. That is telepath. Me, I built this maternity in 2016? May, I think we handed it over in 2016. And here we have now a president in 2021. The same ideas I had, he has just multiplied them on a national level. That is why today, ladies and gentlemen, we are handing over the first mother shelter.
The development has elated the Ministry of Health, who have since pledged to take care of the infrastructure.
I'd like to pledge that we'll take care of this beautiful infrastructure that you've given to us, so that our mothers, as they await delivery, they are comfortable.
On the part of the local authorities, they have assured the people of Chiwombo district of putting to good use the CDF for the benefit of the community.
Suffice to say that we will continue working tireless to see that all funds benefit the community and used prudently.
And Chiwombo District Commissioner says the construction of the modern mother's shelter is a fulfillment of the promise the UPND made prior to forming government of improving healthcare services in the country.
We are the fastest government to be implementing what we promised the people of Zambia within the shortest time we have been in power.
Meanwhile, UPND Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Menda says Zambians should brace themselves for more infrastructure development following the successful debt restructuring deal.
Now we are going to suspend the paying back that Congole for some time, which means the money that we will make from all these other operations can go into investments.
The traditional leadership and the people of Chiwombo are indebted to government and the Kembe area member of parliament for the development taking place in the constituency. For Zanis, I'm Lakson Makota.
Unknown people have encroached on the land belonging to a health facility in an area called Waya in Kabwe district. A check at the institution found that half of the land has been encroached and buildings are being constructed. Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimwambwa has warned that government will not tolerate illegalities on the land. More in the following report.
This is the building that was constructed right behind the health post, and another church construction is underway at the same land that belongs to Waya Health Post. The developer has even put his own demarcation using this post just a few meters away from the walls of the health facility. This has been done without the knowledge of the management at the health facility.
Councillors had promised to come and do a site visit and thereafter issue a statement. So I'm happy that the DC has actually come and has had a look at what is happening at this facility. A very unfortunate development, actually. And I'm happy that it has come out strongly against what is happening here.
Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimwambwa has visited the site.
This level of impunity. This is impunity. The church has a right, just like anybody else, to go and apply for land. And the government encourages that. But not the church creating an illegality. The pastor who is building here, I think, knows where the local authority is. All this boundary we have is for this facility, Waya Health Facility, where we are today. And we will not accept. So what we are doing is we have directed that. I was telling the in charge yesterday that should there be anybody here who shows their face, we have given them our number. We shall have them arrested on site. That is how we're going to operate. And this is the message to the Kawe residents. There's even a Sautu, a name by some gentleman called Sautu, who has been illegally allocating these pieces of land. Also let him take notice to just refund the pastor and also refund the gentleman there who built.
Mr. Shimamba says the buildings will not be demolished, but will be forfeited to the health facility.
We have a structure there, we will not even break it. That structure, like I'm saying, we will use it. The hospital will use it. The facility will use it for something else. Then a strong message is sent to the public, so that we don't do this sort of, this level of impunity. These odd ways of doing things have come to an end here.
Daniel Billy, Zanis News, in Kabwe, Central Province.
And in Eastern Province, stakeholders have shut down the campaign by opponents to curtail activities of the tobacco industry. The stakeholders, who include farmers, civic and traditional leaders, have argued that tobacco is a high-value crop that is significantly contributing to the country's and region's economic growth. The submission has been welcomed by Tobacco Board of Zambia chairperson Phil Daka, who says the board is already working with key stakeholders to implement activities that will sustain the industry by addressing concerns of the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, FCTC. More in the following report.
Tobacco is one of the high-value crops with significant contribution to the country's export earnings. However, the use of tobacco continues to generate debate, particularly around concerns about its harmful nature on human beings, as raised by some watchdog organizations like the World Health Organization. To discuss this and other issues affecting the industry, the Tobacco Board of Zambia has met some tobacco farmers in Chipata district.
We are all aware of the World Health Organization, FCTC, and we are saying, look, this treaty remains a treaty, whether we like it or not. It means a treaty that was being pushed to us to reduce the global demand on tobacco. Someone wants to kill the industry, someone wants to purify the industry, someone wants... So these things are there. There are certain sustainable watch-outs that we need to ascribe to. In order to address the concerns of the WHO and protect the tobacco industry in Zambia, the board is working with the industry stakeholders to come up with initiatives regarding sustainable tobacco production plans, which will address issues of human rights, environmental conservation, access to clean water, lab practices, alternative livelihood, efficient curing of tobacco, and public health matters.
Key stakeholders have raised concerns.
A very serious campaign against the growth of tobacco. At the level it is going, it is not matching with the reaction from the actors in the tobacco industry to respond to those challenges which have been put forward. Coming from Spangari, we know that tobacco is the highest value crop that we have. And as mayor of Spangari, I would be very hesitant to agree with such kind of a campaign which wants to end the growth of tobacco.
Registration, Bwana TBZ, Bwana Chairman, is the key. And that registration must be coupled with the chiefs. Because the people who are fighting as a FCTC, they don't come to you. Who are we? They will go to the Royal Highnesses.
We can't be against a cash crop like tobacco, because we also want to see our people's life improve. If you can facilitate afforestation, maybe you can engage us as traditional leaders so that we can reserve space for nurseries.
The board executive director has answers.
We formed up a committee we are calling Tobacco Industry Stakeholders Initiative Committee. Very soon we'll be able to see the issues of tree planting being addressed, the issues of child labor being addressed, and all these sustainable tobacco production being addressed. Because of the importance of this, the government of the Republic of Zambia has appointed a multi-ministerial committee.
Abigail Kashweka, Zanis, in Chipata.
Still ahead in the news, Chipangali receives 2,400 bags of fertilizer under wetlands project. We take a break.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Hello, It's time for you to know your rights. For ignorance of the law is no defense.
People should report any case of gender-based violence to the police. They should not be tempted to compromise the cases, because compromising a case of gender-based violence is actually an offense.
Zambia, like any other country, has got laws that govern the welfare of its citizens.
We provide some check, some oversight on the police service.
When an officer misconducts himself, he's alone. One person being beaten is enough for the commission to move. The Constitution tells us that the people of Zambia must enjoy their liberties.
Every week on Thursday at 19:30 hours, the Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis, brings to your screens a program dubbed Police and the Community.
If we, the police, and you and the public, we work together, because the common enemy we have before us is the criminal.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. Chipangali District has received 2,400 bags of both D, compound and urea fertilizer under the Food Security Pack FSP to support vulnerable but viable farmers. The consignment of fertilizers under the Wetlands Project will also support farmers with maize and horticulture seeds. Billy Dingiswayo gives us more details.
In an effort to alleviate poverty among vulnerable but viable farmers in rural communities, government is implementing wetland farming through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services to help enhance food security. Chipangali District in Eastern Province is the beneficiary of 2,400 bags of 50 kg fertilizer of wetland farming. Chipangali District Commissioner Paul Sakala has flagged off the distribution of food security packs in Kasenga Ward.
Let's support the vision of the government by utilizing the fertilizer which you are receiving today in a very, very appropriate manner. What we want to do is to increase productivity and support food security, as it has already been mentioned. I think we are very much aware this year we have a serious challenge when it comes to hunger. The issue of selling inputs. This is an issue which has really affected us here in Chipangali and other districts. At the end, we even fail to understand whether the government is really addressing the challenges of the people who are in need or not.
An Eastern Provincial Community Development Officer, Benson Mbewe, has explained about the wetland crop production.
Kuno kwatu kuchipangali boma kupyolera mu kigawo cha community development itandiza alimi pali programu yolima mu madimba alimi okwana ngati 1,200 ndipo alimi amene aba yense wa mulimi azalandira matumba abiri, tumba limozi la urea, tumba limozi la D compound. Siapopoka alimi azalandiranso chimanga, alimi azalandiranso mbewu za madimba monga tomato komanso cabbage kuno kwatu kuchipangali.
Here, the beneficiaries are full of praise to the government for this initiative meant to catapult them from the shackles of poverty.
Iboma imene yabwerakwe ini boma imene yanganira pa umphawi zoona ife tizachosa ko umphawi kuno kuchipangali.
Chamene chachitika vyaka ivi twezi imeneyi sinachionepa alutiganizira president vathu vatipasa chidwi chotheratu hoti tavina pano tilili ndise mawidows tilibe vatu muna anamwalira koma tathandizikira mmalo mwa president vatiganizira
kama metankhalira kwa khala ma president osiyana koma program sinayoneko uona kwa bwera president aichi program itaona kuti ni yaphindu mmanyumba njala ichepa nipo tikamba pali pano chimanga timalibe manyumba koma nomba chipezeka chimanga chocho lima kumadimba.
Dingiswayo Billy, Zanis News, Chipangali, Eastern Province.
Lavushimanda Council Secretary Dominic Makisa says the Constituency Development Fund CDF projects being undertaken in the constituency would drastically reduce poverty levels in the district. And residents in the district have expressed gratitude to the government, saying the area has seen massive developmental projects yielding positive results. Pamela Inambao has more in this report.
The increase in the Constituency Development Fund has continued to change the face of many districts in the country. One such a district is Lavushmanda district, which has seen massive developmental projects being undertaken. One good example is this mortuary, which was recently commissioned, and the facility has helped reduce traveling expenses among community members.
We thank government
for constructing this mortuary. It has helped us a lot as we used to walk long distances to Chilonga Mission Hospital where there is a mortuary. We could just opt to bury our beloved ones whenever they die from Chilonga instead of bringing them here to avoid transport challenges. Therefore, we thank government for this mortuary and many other projects that are taking place through CDF. Another project which is taking shape is Mununga Day Secondary School, whose dormitory and ablution block are under construction. Father Emmanuel Tolosi is the chairperson for the Constituency Development Fund Committee from Fuwe Constituency and shares some of the challenges faced by the committee members.
In terms of projects, we are at 80%. The only challenge which we have so far is the distances which we have, because from here to go and monitor the projects which are in Chundaponde, Muwele there, and the road itself, it's impassable. So it's a challenge for us to monitor. But all in all, we are managing.
And Lavushmanda Council Secretary shares how the CDF is changing the face of the district.
With the introduction of CDF funds to implement our project, Lavushmanda has improved, has developed greatly, because this is not what we used to be. Now we are talking about people running cooperatives successively. We are seeing families that were failing to sponsor their children to schools, but now they are able to send them. The little money that they have, they can spend it on other things.
Indeed, with the increase in the Constituency Development Fund, CDF district will see more development. Pamela Inamba reporting for Zanis in Lavushmanda district, Muchinga province.
Back to Central Province. Learners in Mumba have thanked government for introducing school support to boarding schools under the Constituency Development Fund CDF. The learners from Nambala, Mumba, Sanje and Myowe boarding secondary schools says the education support has reduced pressure on their parents to cater for school requisites. The pupils said this when the Provincial Constituency Development Fund Committee visited the schools to check on the beneficiaries of the fund. Here is a report.
CDF has helped me a lot in school. Yes, without CDF we don't have managed me being here, paying the boarding fee.
It's helping me because my mom is able now to pay for my brothers who are at the university, and me I'm being helped to come at school so that I should not stop school.
Before the CDF started sponsoring me, my mom had difficulties with my school fees, but now I thank God that the CDF chose me. I thank the government and the CDF. So thank you so very much.
These are some of the testimonies shared by learners benefiting from the Constituency Development Fund bursary support in Mumba district. They have thanked government for introducing the support as it has reduced pressure on their parents.
We want to thank the CDF people because, it has helped us. They've helped us a lot because we don't have to stress and thinking on how and where we're going to get the money on us paying our school fees, because it has helped us also in a way whereby the parents that are not able to pay for their children's school, So we just want to say thank you for them.
Appreciate the government, what they have done for us. For example, last year I was a day scholar. I had no sponsorship. My parents couldn't afford to sponsor me, to take me in the boarding. But as for now, because of the government or the CDF organization had managed to pay for me school fees, which my parents couldn't afford. So I really appreciate so much.
The day when CDF came into implementation, we've seen that a lot of pupils, those that were supposed to be outside the school or walking long distances, it has come to an end.
School administrators add that education support under CDF is convenient for the institutions.
Yeah, it's very convenient to us, especially our part. We're able to access the stationery, the food for our learners, since the money is now not a problem to parents.
Also, in terms of collection, the collectability of school fees, we are seeing an increase in the levels of revenue, because we are saying now the levels of defaulting compared to previously when this support was not there. Now there is more collections in that.
In fact, we appreciate what the CDF is doing. We're able to run the boarding schools properly. We have money to buy food for kids, whereby when they were paying on their own, we had a challenge whereby a parent would only pay 200, not even a 1,000.
The provincial CDF committee is happy that the fund is making an impact on the beneficiaries.
So our view is that government is making progress over in terms of supporting the vulnerables to access the skills trainings, and also from boarding schools. We found that in many of the schools that we passed through, we were in Nambara, we came to Sanje, and also now we are at this school. We found that at least a number of pupils have acknowledged how helpful these funds have been to the schools and to the pupils.
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Mumba District, Central Province.
Eastern Province Education Officer Brenley Malambo is delighted with the display of pupils at this year's Provincial Engineers, Technicians and Scientists JETS Fair held at Petauke Boarding School. Mr. Malambo is encouraged with the inventions and aged pupils to prepare adequately for the national competitions. Stephen Mukobeko has the details.
Learners from secondary and primary schools in Eastern Province gathered at Petauke Boarding Secondary School to showcase their skills in various projects. This was during the Junior Engineers, Technicians and Scientists Fair. Projects such as landscaping, bricklaying, tailoring technology are some of the many that have been showcased. Eastern Province Education Officer toured some of the project, and this is what he observed.
I have seen a lot. Some of the projects are quite encouraging. Others, to me, need some final touches. But what that simply means is that after we are done with this fair, before we go to a national fair, a lot has to be done from both my teachers and my pupils. By and large, what has been displayed this year is quite encouraging. I have seen undeniable ingenuity from my pupils, and that willingness to do something different. That shows that my Debs are very committed. They want their children to benefit something out of their learning. And they want innovation, they want ingenuity, they want new ideas to be given space so that this country, at the end of it all, benefits and grows economically.
Some of the pupils explained how their projects work.
You have your water source, there is water, you need to make sure that in this water source there is always water, which will supply the chicken drinker with water continuously. So if the water is full in this drink, because of the bore valve which I've put there to be able to stop and allow the chickens to drink. Once the levels drop, the water will continue running from the water source to the drink. So the reason why I decided to make this project is there are times when people are busy, the whole day, we don't have time to go and check if there is continuous supply of water. This will help such people, example teachers.
These are 3 bucket lids, and then these are just bottles. So I recycle things. This way I'm also preventing pollution in the environment. And using glue, I managed to make a pulley here. I made 2 pulleys, and using this rubber band, which is supposed to be connected to this.
Indeed, there is need for technological innovation if the country is to develop economically. For Zanis News, I'm Stephen Mukobeko in Petauke, Eastern Province.
In Northwestern Province, Mwinilunga Town Council Senior Health Inspector Agape Mashiyi has called on residents in the district to embrace the continuous Keep Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy program. Mr. Mashiyi says the program is important as it ensures that people live in a clean environment all the time and are protected from preventable diseases such as cholera. The health inspector made the call during the weekly Keep Zambia Clean, Green and Health program. Obed Linjimu reports.
The Keep Zambia Clean, Green and Health program is a national program aimed at maintaining clean environments and avoiding communicable diseases. The program is coordinated by councils and conducted every Friday from 8 to 10 hours. Mwinilunga residents, joined by staff from government departments, have conducted the cleaning exercise for the 3rd week of July. Town Council Senior Health Inspector Agape Mashiyi has led in the cleaning exercise.
The environment needs to look clean and appealing. And also, most importantly, it also prevents communicable diseases such as cholera. I must say that within the CBD, the response has been positive. Members of the community are participating.
Mr. Mashiyi wants Mwinilunga residents to own the program.
But I want to urge all the residents of Mwinilunga to actively participate in this program. Let's beautify our town. Let us chase away those communicable diseases that can be prevented by simply cleaning our environments.
Those whose shops were found open during the exercise were forced to close and clean their premises.
I opened the shop, so I was told next time I should not open before 10 hours so that we can clean first. Because if we keep it dirty, it won't be looking good, and it's important for our health.
Adriana Lumingu and Felix Kangelu, who trade around Chikabu area, have welcomed the program. During the exercise, public and private businesses are expected to clean their premises and only resume operations at 10 hours. Reporting for Zanis, Obed Lijim in Mwinilunga District, Northwestern Province.
Finally, in the news, Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba says government will support organizations that look into the plight of the less privileged and vulnerable in society. Mr. Mumba was speaking when he officiated at the installation of newly elected Rotary Club of Mansa President Mwanawasa. Godfrey Chikumbi reports.
A joyous occasion for all Rotarians and guests drawn from Mansa and Zambia, witnessing the installation of newly elected Rotary Club of Mansa President Mwanawasa in Mansa. The Rotary Club of Mansa undergoes leadership change annually, where the immediate past president passes the baton to the new leadership, a practice that has happened for over 40 years now. Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba officiated at the event.
It is gratifying to learn that during the visit of the Rotary International President Jennifer Jones in Lusaka, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, was pinned as an honorary member to the Rotary International. I am alive to the fact that the club's involvement in life-changing projects has complemented government's efforts to reach out to its people through the provision of safe drinking water in Luvwe, the construction of Mumba boarding girls' dormitory, and the continued support to the adopted pediatric ward at Mansa General Hospital. These and so many other projects, not mentioned here, have continued to tell a success story about the illustrious service of the Rotary Club of Mansa.
Matthews Mwaba is immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Mansa.
The wheel of Rotary has to go on. Thank you for demonstrating what it means to put service above self.
In her acceptance speech, the first ever female president acknowledged the robust work ahead.
I dedicate my efforts to strengthening existing relationships and friendships amongst all members of the club and the entire Rotary fraternity as we continue to create hope in the world.
For Zanis TV, Godfrey Chikumbi reporting in Mansa.
As we end the news, let's take a look at the headlines again. Vice President Mutalena Lumango challenges church and mothers. Kembe MP hands over first ever mother's shelter. Chipangali receives 2,400 bags of fertilizer under wetlands project. Plus, learners praise government over CDF bursary. On that note, we end Zanis News. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, it's goodbye and God bless you.